What is up, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. I've been trying to record a vlog the past like 2 weeks, but the universe has just been kind of conspiring against me. Just either a boring session. One time I forgot the stuff I need to record. Another time I forgot to hit record on the biggest pot of the night, so had to scrap that episode. So here we are today. We're going to be playing 5-5 at Poker Hub in Dayton, and no matter what, I'm making an episode today. I don't give a shit what happens. We are going to salvage an episode no matter what. I was going to make this one at Spades, but the universe had other plans. So that's pretty much our plan for the day, you guys. Let's get out there and crush some souls.
Here's a look at the club from the outside. Nothing too crazy, pretty standard. And the inside is actually pretty damn spacious, so that's nice. Plenty of room for tournaments. We ended up buying in the game for $1,000, so we're gonna be in the game for $1,000. All right, you guys, first hand of the night. We are looking down at a couple of snowmen, pocket eights. Under the gun, super tight player opens to 15. Button, loose splashy player puts in the call. We go ahead and call from the small blind, and big blind calls as well. Don't really see much point to 3-bet here and inflate the pot unnecessarily and reopen the action to an already tight player whose range is already pretty tight. So yeah, I think call is superior. So we do call, and the flop is very fortunate. Queen, 9-8, $60 in the pot. So checks over to under the gun, the initial raiser, and he bets 40, so folds around to us. And yeah, no way, I am not raising this. Our hand needs a lot of protection. This board is super wet and connected. We have bottom set, so yeah, that's a really good hand to raise. We're unblocking all the queen X hands. So even though this guy's super tight and he's probably only going to continue with like ace queen plus or like the nut flush draw or some type of combo draw, we definitely need to charge those hands. So we raise to 130, and unfortunately, table folds. So, not the result we were looking for, but that is going to be it for hand number 1. Alright, lock in. This hand is pretty wild. So, cutoff opens to 20, pretty loose, splashy player. The button, solid reg, calls. Small blind, another pretty loose, splashy player, calls as well. So we go ahead and just complete from the big blind with 8-7 of hearts. See no point to put in the 3-bet. So 4 ways to the flop, and the flop is ace-6-4 with 2 hearts. So very good flop for us. We got the gut shot straight draw and the 8-high flush draw. Checks to cutoff, initial raiser pre-flop, and he bets 40. Button pretty quickly calls, small blind calls, and I kind of wanted to go for a check raise, but with this many people continuing, I think it would be too loose. We could easily be dominated by a higher flush draw, so I decide to just put in the call. And the turn is the 5 of diamonds, so we just banked the stone cold nuts, nut straight, 240 in the pot. Small blind checks. We go ahead and check flow, and cutoff slows down now and checks, and now the button, much to our delight, bets 125. Definitely did not want this board to check through. The small blind calls, and we go ahead and bump it up to 270. I think we could have went a little bigger, maybe 320-ish would have been a little better, 325, but we do raise to 270. The cutoff folds, the button calls, and the small blind folds. So we are going to be heads up to this river, and the river is a soul-crushing ace of diamonds.
No! God, please, no! No!
905 in the pot. Basically the worst river that could have possibly came. I don't think we can even really value bet this right now, honestly, anymore, given our stack size and just how terrible this card is. So we do slow down and check, and button now moves all in for 575. So absolutely terrible. but we're getting a pretty good price. There's 905 in the pot. It's only 575 to call, but it's just a really unfortunate spot because he can't even be value owning himself with ace king. Even ace queen, he's pretty much always 3-betting that pre-flop. Ace queen offsuit, he's always 3-betting. Maybe give him one combo of ace queen suited. So now we have to ask, is he doing this with like ace jack? Maybe. Don't think he's doing it with ace 10 or worse. So yeah, it's really a terrible spot. There's a ton of 2-pair in his range that boated up on this river. Sets are a little less likely. I think he raises pocket 4s and pocket 6s a lot more. Flop, hard to get to the turn with pocket 5s, so I don't really think he has a set, but definitely still possible. Could easily have 6s or 4s. Holding 8-7 of hearts, we're blocking a lot of his bluffs, like king 7 of hearts, that would have been the nut flush draw, turn the combo draw, or like queen 7 of hearts, can't have that. The 8 of hearts is blocking some bluffs too. So yeah, it's just a terrible spot. The thing that makes this really hard is he is a very capable, good, aggressive player. So yeah, he could easily have bluffs. Kind of at this point, the main bluffs would probably be like 5-4 suited that got counterfeited by this river. He's blocking the boats. Or maybe some random heart draw that bricked out. But again, we got 2 hearts in our hands, less likely he has hearts. So pretty abysmal run out. And it was also really multi-way when I raised on the turn. So that makes our hand even stronger and his continuing range even stronger, especially given that he called pretty quickly, the 270. So yeah, all in all, it just felt like a pretty abysmal spot.
I cannot believe he called.
Oh my god! Oh
my god!
Let me have his hand. I'll call.
So after much deliberation, we do decide to fold, and he was cool enough to show, so he slides his cards over. I'm praying we don't look down at ace queen or ace jack or some random airball bluff.
Yeah, do you want to see it for the vlog?
Can I tell him what she folded? 7-8 of hearts.
Yeah, show us all. Yeah, you can tell me.
But we do not. He did have ace 5 of clubs, runner, full house. We were able to dodge a bullet here and save ourselves $600. So props to him for showing, and we were able to make a very nice fold and save ourselves a lot of big blinds.
You ain't folding.
Out of straight.
I knew you out of straight. I was like, I can't fucking believe it.
So before this hand started, we did add on 500. So now we're in the game for 1500 total. Hoping to make some back after that super unfortunate, super tilting last hand where we ended up folding a straight. So we're looking down at queen 6 of clubs this time. Early position opens to 20. We go ahead and call from the small blind, and big blind calls as well. So 3 ways to the flop, and the flop is 9-7-3, all clubs. So we just smash this flop, 3rd nut flush. So we check, gonna be sneaky, and it ends up checking through, unfortunately. And the turn is the 5 of hearts. Makes the board even a little more connected. So we decide to put a little bait out there, and we just bet 35, allow us to get called by weaker hands, leave the door open to get raised. And unfortunately, the opposite happens. They both just fold. So another tilting result similar to hand 1. Hopefully we can get something going here soon. Looking down at ace 8 of hearts this hand, and we did add on $200 before this one started. So action goes hijack, open to 25, cutoff, calls. We go ahead and call on the button. We could squeeze, but ace 8, not the strongest suited ace by any means. I'd rather have ace 5 or ace 3 or 4 suited. So we elect to just call on the button, and small blind calls as well. So multi-way to this flop, and the flop is king 7-3 with 2 hearts, 105 in the pot. So checks to hijack, solid, aggressive, thinking player, and he bets 40. The cutoff folds, and this is the point in the hand where I think we made a mistake. I think we should have raised. We can get better ace X hands to fold, such as ace queen, ace jack, ace 10, but as played, we decide to just put in the call. I also think it would get a lot of credit being multi-way. These spots, you get a lot of credit when you raise. So Definitely think we should have found the raise, but hey, that's why we make these vlogs. Part of the reason to examine our play and get better. But as played, we put in the call. So after the small blind folds, heads up to the turn. And the turn is the king of spades, 185 in the pot. And hijack now bets 60, 1/3 pot. And at this point, when the board pairs and he's giving us such a good price, I think the right play is to just call, realize our equity, try to hit our flush. So we do just call, and unfortunately, we cannot hit. The river is the 6 of diamonds, complete brick, 305 in there, and he now bets 100, 1/3 pot again. He's milking us. Could be bluffing, but can't really beat much. So standard fold, so we go ahead and make the fold. We decide to splash around a little bit with the pocket ducks this time, so under the gun opens to 25. We make a loose call from the low jack with pocket 2s. Hijack, solid player, he 3-bets to 90. Under the gun calls, and at this price, we're calling too. We're going set mining. So we put in the call, trying to make some of this money back, and the flop is 10-10-3. Very close. We needed 10-10 deuce, 280 in there. So when it checks over to hijack, he bets 120. Under the gun folds, and yeah, we're done with his hand. I just love burning $90. Just so fun. Just throwing it straight into an incinerator. So $90 down the drain with pocket 2s. Alright, you guys, no more playing around. We're looking down at King, Queen of Spades. We just added on for 300, so we're in the game for a total of 2K. Aggressive reg opens on the button to 25. And yeah, we ain't calling this time. We're putting in the 3-bet. We've played too passively tonight. So he already raised pretty big, 5x. So we go just over 4x being out of position to 110. And he doesn't think for too long before putting in the call. So heads up to the flop. 225 in the pot. We're about 1050 effective with the button, and the flop is Queen 3-3 rainbow. There is a spade out there, so we have backdoor spades going for us. Obviously top pair, second kicker. So we go ahead and fire out for 95, and button doesn't think for too long before putting in the call. So the turn is the king of hearts. Great turn, gives us top 2 pair, 415 in the pot. So he could definitely have ace king in this spot and call the flop, especially if he had a backdoor flush draw. Even without it, he's still probably going to call against our bet. So this is a great card. You could have ace king, you could have ace queen, you could have various king x and queen x hands that we need to target. The flush draw is also on board now, the hearts out there. So we go ahead and fire out for 280, basically 70% pot. I like this bet. And he pretty quickly folds, so happy to take this one down. So we are going to win this one with king queen suited. Alright, a lot of pre-flop shenanigans going on this hand. There is a straddle to 10 under the gun. Under the gun 1 puts in the blind 20. Low jack puts in the blind 40. And we call from the hijack with queen jack of diamonds. I just want to call and kind of see what develops. We're pretty early position. See what the rest of the table does. The cutoff calls. Under the gun folds the $10 straddle, and under the gun 1, the blind 20 puts in 20 more. So we are 4 ways to the flop, 180 in the pot. Pretty glad that no one squeezed. Really want to see the flop with this hand. And the flop is favorable. It is ace 8 deuce with 2 diamonds. So we have the second nut flush draw, and the flop pretty quickly checks through, and the turn is another ace, the ace of clubs. So given how quickly everybody checked, I really don't think anyone has an ace. So this is the perfect opportunity to put in the semi bluff when it checks to us. So we want to bet pretty big, get low pocket pairs to fold. So we go ahead and fire out 155, basically 85% pot, and it does get the job done. So we're going to take this one down with queen jack of diamonds. Looking down at another suited Broadway hand, this time king queen of clubs. There's a button straddle, and we decide to just call from the small blind, call the 10. We could definitely raise this hand. I think it's about 50-50. Just limp in half the time, raise the other half. So this time we decide to just call. Big blind folds, and under the gun 1, pretty loose splashy player, opens to 40, folds around to us, and we could definitely go for the limp re-raise, especially against this player. But we would really hate to get 4-bet. He's pretty aggressive pre-flop, so I think we just want to call and realize our equity. So we do just call, and the flop is 4-3 deuce rainbow. There is one club out there, so we got that backdoor flush draw working for us. There's 95 in the pot. Pretty good flop for our range, being in the small blind. So we check, and under the gun 1 pretty quickly checks. And the turn is the 6 of clubs, giving us the second nut flush draw. So I go ahead and fire out $90, basically a full pot size bet. And he doesn't think too long before raising to 230, so yeah, not the greatest spot at all. Like I said, we can easily have a 5 being in the small blind, and he's still raising our almost full pot size bet. He is a pretty aggressive player, but on the same note, this board is actually all over his range. He could actually have a lot of 5x himself. King 5, ace 5, 6-5 suited, various hands with a 5 in it. And we're not drawing to the nuts. He could have ace x of clubs. So I don't know, it's pretty close. It's not the biggest raise. If he would have min clicked it to, like, you know, 185, 190, 200, something like that, I think we could continue. This price is right on the cusp, but like I said, we're not drawn to the nuts. You know, this board is already pretty scary. He's still raising, could easily have a 5 himself, which does increase our implied odds if we hit our flush. But all in all, feels like a losing proposition to call, so we do fold. Hoping the old ducks can bring us back this time, you guys. There is a button straddle, small blind folds, and obviously we call from the big blind with pocket 2s. Under the gun opens to 40. Under the gun 1 puts in the call. They're both pretty solid, aggressive players. So folds around to us, and we put in the call as well. So 3 ways to the flop, $95 in the pot, and the flop is queen 3 deuce. We are able to hit our set, bottom set for us on this rainbow flop. So we check in flow, and the initial raise are pre-flop, solid aggressive reg. He bets 60. Under the gun 1 gets out of the way pretty quick, so it is now heads up. And solver really likes to raise in this spot, but it's such a dry flop. Our only real bluffs would be like 5-4 suited or like ace 4 suited, something along those lines. And it's just such a dry, non-threatening flop. I don't really see a ton of point to raise against humans in real life. It's just going to make them overfold. So we decided to just call. The turn is the ace of spades. So all things considered, I think this is a pretty good card. If he has ace queen now, we should probably be able to get all the money. If he has ace king, it's going to be a really tough spot for him if we go for a check raise. And he could have a lot of combo draws himself, you know, jack 10 of spades, king 10 of spades, various hands such as these, king jack of spades. So there's 215 in the pot. We check in flow once again. Gonna go for the check raise this time. And he bets 175. Pretty hefty bet, basically 3/4 pot. So like I said, I think we definitely need to raise. If he has ace queen, we're going to get all the money in, or some other, you know, 2-pair aces up hand, we're going to get all the money in. And if he has a big combo draw himself, I don't think he is probably going to fold either, such as, you know, 10 jack of spades, king jack of spades, hands such as these, king 10 of spades. And if we had those hands ourselves, we would be making the same bet as well, which is all in. So yeah, it's one of those spots where if he does have a weaker ace X hand, you know, ace jack or ace 10 or worse, we're probably not going to be able to get much more out of him anyway. So I think we really just want to go for the max against his really good hands and against his really good draws. So after deliberating for a while, we do decide to just rip for 1,085.
All in.
And he doesn't think for too long before folding. He did say after the hand that he had ace 10, so yeah, one of those hands that we were going to have a hard time getting much more money out of anyway. I guess we could have just called 175 and then let out for like half pot on the river, but that's not the way you really want to play. You don't want to just try to make a few $100 here and there. You really want to go for the max. I mean, you want to be balanced too. If I had a big combo draw, this is exactly what I would do. So bottom set, we just decided to rip. So luckily we didn't get snapped off. He didn't have pocket aces. That was always a possibility too. So that's going to be it for this hand. Pocket 2 is able to make us back a little bit of profit, but not the real end result we were looking for. We really wanted that double up. Starting to get a little late here. It's going to be our final hand for the night. We got a pretty far drive home, so there is a straddle under the gun, $10 and 2 limps. We go ahead and raise to 50 from the cutoff, and the button aggressive reg 3 bets to 140. He has been 3-betting quite a lot. And now the small blind, another quite active player, puts in the cold 4-bet to 325. And we are looking down at pocket kings. Let's go. King Kong. Yeah, at this point, I don't really see much other option other than rip, honestly. Like, I don't want to get fancy here and just call and let an ace come on the flop, or 6, 7, 8, all hearts or spades or some bullshit. And if they have ace king or queens, I just want to get it all in before, you know, scary flops come for those hands or before they miss with ace king. So yeah, I don't think there's much other move other than all in.
All in.
So we decide to ship it for 1500. If you got aces, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, all that stuff, because we are all in. We go ahead and jam for 1500, and they both fold. So can't really be too upset with that result. We pick up an uncontested $500 pre-flop, so that's going to be the last hand to finish out our night. After scooping that nice pot pre-flop with pocket kings, we played for about 30 more minutes before it was time for us to hit the road. So we headed on over to the cage to cash out for the night. We ended up being in the game for a total of 2,000, out for 1795. We did lose 205 for the night, but definitely could have lost a lot more. If we would have made the call with that straight, we would have been down at least 800. So we're able to save a nice chunk with that fold. Other than that, I thought we played pretty well. Could have played a little more aggressively in some spots, but overall I think we played fine. So that's going to do it for us. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.